we must get clear that, to some degree, that surrender is not an action in response to either an external happening or an internal feeling. It's not an action. It's an undoing. In other words, a relaxation of all attempts, all effort to get rid of, to suppress, to resist, to change, to fix, to control, to run away from. Anything that is being experienced in your internal landscape. It's a stop. In resistance, we are interpreting and interfering. And so the horizontal movement of craving and aversion, grasping and rejection, which forms the ego identity, the ego self, that knot of tension, that knot of agitation, perpetuates itself. So surrender is a surrender of the strategies of moving towards or moving away, grasping or rejecting, resistance to what is. It's a surrender of that. It's a stop. And that stop is not an action. It's a willingness to just, like an exhale, in the midst of what you are experiencing, as your internal landscape. Why is it important? Well, not only is it the doorway to the deepest acceptance, but it's also an undoing of the layers of ego identity. Life always offers precisely what is required for this undoing, for this unfolding, for this releasing of the tight knot of ego identity that keeps us in suffering. So we're undoing the root of psychological suffering. Far from making you a victim, it's the undoing of the victim identity. The victim identity retracts, contracts, reduces itself in the face of what is unwelcome. But in that, it tightens even further. The self, the self-construct tightens even further and separates itself from the unified field of being and the wholeness of life and the inherent goodness of life. So far from surrender reducing you into the victim, it opens you up into your magnificence, because it brings you into deep intimacy with what is. The one, you can call it the witness, the subject, the separate self, the sense of a separate self, the me self, that stands back, having an experience, whether it's good or bad, welcome or unwelcome. Stops standing back, having an experience. In deep intimacy with what is, it merges into the experience. And at least in that moment, the self disappears. Subject and object collapse. Witness and that which is being witnessed collapse. There is only witnessing. That ends the separation. It ends the fragmentation. From a fragmented place, from a sense of being a separate self, we are isolated, alienated. Both from this moment in its fullness and from the totality, the wholeness of life and beingness. This has practical ramifications on our lived experience. Not only is all addiction ultimately a result of this fragmentation, and when I say addiction, I mean all addiction, even the addiction to just doing something, whatever it might be, unable to rest in stillness within, whether it's thinking, obsessive compulsive thinking, doing, being active, picking up the phone, and this incessant need to socialize, to connect, or something a little more harmful than that. It simply is a symptom of being unable to totally rest in the fullness of now, which is a death of self, the end of resistance to this moment and this moment and this moment. It also means we constantly seek connection through relationship, through friendship, through socializing. There's nothing wrong in those inherently. That's all part of the richness of life. But when it arises from a core sense of I need to connect in order to feel whole, then we seek solace in like-mindedness, whether it's worldly or spiritual. This doesn't bring lasting fulfillment. First, know yourself as that which is whole. And then don't seek connection, it will come naturally, because you don't need to be connected. You are already connected to all that is and all beings. This changes our relationship to everything, whether it's one-on-one relationships or collective relationships. So surrender of the strategic self that is constantly resisting what is, resisting this moment, has very real life, everyday ramifications. So then the question comes, how do we surrender? How to surrender? So we have to say here, it's not a how-to. There's no formula. There's no, this is what you do, this is how you do it. There may be those who attempt to create a formula out of it, but it's not. If there's anything that can be said of it, it's the soft gaze. That's why I said, find out for yourself what a soft gaze is. It's not just in the eyes, although it can be as literal as the eyes. So you can focus. Yeah, so when you look at somebody, like now, you can focus on their boundary, on their shape, on their, or you can let the eyes just open and relax. Just soften. Soften the focus on the boundary. But it's not just in the eyes. It's in the mind. It's in the heart. It's in the body. It's in the belly. It's in the breath. Soften. It's in the thought. Soften the gaze. Soften the touch upon perception, upon experience. This is where mind sinks into heart. The eyes of the ego, self, see boundaries, see differences. And in that there is interpretation and judgment and division. The eyes of the heart see into things. That is intimacy. They see the unified beingness, the one beingness. Changes everything. So not only a soft gaze on what you seem to perceive seemingly outside of yourself, but on yourself. Notice how there is so much self-judgment or self-tightness, a tight focus on the self. This is wrong, that is wrong, I shouldn't be feeling this, and so on and so on and so on. So here is the most potent direction to bring a soft gaze. Bring a soft gaze upon yourself. And initially that self is the outer casing, if you like, which is the personality self, the personhood, which includes body, mind, feelings, characteristics, tendencies, preferences. That's your personhood. That's the pattern that you are. You don't need to change that. You don't need to fix that. But you can change the way you see it, the way you are with it, the way you relate. Bring a soft gaze. In this way, you start to be unconcerned with the personhood, with the personality self. And you come to rest in your deep self, your true self. And the personality becomes permeable, transparent, lighter. It's not a problem. You're not a problem unto yourself, and you're not a problem unto others. Nothing to do with perfection. On that level, on the level of personhood, that it is the purity of the true self, unadulterated by identity. So surrender is a vital part of awakening out of the dream of ego identity, and the suffering that seems to bring to us when we are trapped, if you like, or imprisoned by that ego identity.